YNews with Angelo Castro III and William Theo.
Good evening. Lawmakers want to conduct its own investigation on the alleged conspiracy among certain officials and stockbrokers of the Social Security system. Here's why from Grace Casin.
8 congressmen are set to file resolution to investigate the involvement of 4 officials of the Social Security System or SSS in trading of their stocks with stockbroker. The said officials are SSS Executive Vice President for Investment Rizaldi Capulong, Vice President for Equities Investment Division Reginald Candelaria, Equities Product Development Head Ernesto Francisco Jr., and Actuarial and Risk Management Division Chief George Onqueco. House Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries Chairman Congressman Ben Everdone believes that there was conspiracy among the said officials.
Ang ginawa, yung mga stockbroker na nagbigay sa kanila ng information na maganda dito mag-invest, hindi nila sinabi sa SSS na mag-invest dito ang SSS para kumita yung SSS. Sila ang nag-invest, personal nilang pera.
Everdone said such anomalies were the reason why a huge portion of the state pension fund went missing and stalled the imposition of 2,000 peso pension increase for its members.
Instead na 2,000, 1,000 lang muna, 1,000 next year. Kaya hindi kumikita yung SSS dahil hindi nag-i-invest ng tama yung SSS. Kaya hindi nga napupunta yung pera ng SSS dun sa mga investments na kumikita kasi itong mga opisyalis, sila na ang nag-i-invest.
To prevent such anomalies, some Makabayan congressmen suggest the creation of a body that will oversee and monitor the stocks of the agency.
A possible measure could put in place na magiging transparent, no? Hindi dapat independently or solely from SSS commissioners or any other officials of the SSS can make independent transactions or investments out of the stocks of SSS without concurrence of any government entity.
Meanwhile, Quezon City Representative Winnie Castelo urges the Department of Justice to order the Bureau of Immigration and place the implicated SSS officials under BI's Lookout Bulletin. According to presidential spokesperson, an investigation should push through on the issue, and those responsible in the controversy should be held accountable, as President Rodrigo Duterte's main campaign is to curb corruption in the government. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
In other news, the gun ban and the no-sale zone policy has now taken into effect in Metro Manila and in nearby cities. Here's why from Monokson.
The Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DILG, has begun the implementation of a 15-day gun ban in Metro Manila and nearby cities. The ban, which started on November 1 and will end on November 15, aims to secure the safety of local and foreign delegations in the 2017 ASEAN Summit.
Ang primordial concern nito is to ensure that our visitors are safe and that all those only authorized to carry firearms, whether they are civilian, must also be given due course.
The suspension of permit to carry firearms outside residence was a recommendation by the Philippine National Police. On-duty soldiers and policemen are exempted from the gun ban, provided they will adhere with the regulations imposed by the policy.
Dapat sila ay nasa uniforme, sila ay nasa listahan ng, kumbaga sila ay nasa plantilla, and more so na sila ay may mission order or letter order as the case may be.
The PNP also clarifies that civilians under threats are not exempted from the ban since there is no application for such cases.
Sa ngayon, wala pang binibigyan ng ganong exemption ng ating mahal na Chief PNP as of this time. And this will be strictly implemented lalo-lalo na pag nandito na ang ating mga heads of state visitors.
Violators of the ban will face revocation of license. Meanwhile, DILG has also taken into effect the no-sale zone policy in parts of Manila Bay from November 5 to 16. This means sea vessels are prohibited to sail near H2O Hotel, Manila to Okada Hotel, and near New Seaside Drive in Parañaque City. The portion of Pasig River covered by 1 nautical mile from the H2O Hotel, meanwhile, will be placed under control. Those outside the said perimeter are not covered by the no-sail zone and controlled zone. All vessels coming from Pasig River will be escorted by members of the Philippine Coast Guard. Mon Hokson, UNTV, News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority advises motorists to, as much as possible, avoid flying on North Luzon Expressway and EDSA on the 11th and 15th of this month. Joanano will tell us why.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA releases a list of roads that will be closed to motorists from November 11 to 15 to give way for the ASEAN Summit in the Philippines. This includes the roads around the SMX Convention Center and the CCP complex in Pasay City, where several activities of the 22 heads of state will be held. A lockdown will prevail in Ross Boulevard from Buendia area to Corner P. Burgos on November 13. Over 3,000 traffic law enforcers from the MMDA will be deployed in EDSA from Camachile in Balintawak, Quezon City down to Magallanes. The MMDA traffic law enforcers are primarily tasked to manage the flow of vehicles in EDSA and assist the convoy of the heads of state who will come from Clark International Airport in Pampanga. The convoy will traverse some parts of ECITEX and NLEX. The MMDA allots the 2 inner lanes of the southbound lane of EDSA to the convoy. For this, the MMDA advises motorists to avoid using EDSA and NLEX on the dates of the ASEAN Summit.
Yung exclusive lanes natin for the ASEAN, bali 2 lanes. Yung innermost, yung meaning yung sa may MRT wall. During the event, wag na wag. Kasi talaga exclusive siya. Pero pagka let's say naman nandun na lahat sa nasa PICC na sila, pwede nating case to case siguro pagka may mabigat ang traffic sa area, pwede nating padaanan, especially doon sa mga emergency.
Aside from this, the MMDA will also implement the stop-and-go scheme in Jose Jocno Boulevard to Entertainment City in Pasay City and in some parts of Ayala Avenue and McKinley Road. Despite the measures prepared to manage traffic, the MMDA admits it cannot guarantee easy trips for motorists.
We cannot assure them lalo sa EDSA dahil may time na mas longer period of closure. Meaning, kasi nagre-range tayo sa 5 minutes to 20 minutes Depende sa traffic volume sa area.
The MMDA will begin deploying traffic law enforcers for the ASEAN Summit on November 9, Thursday. A day before this, a final dry run will be held starting from 1 to 4 o'clock in the morning. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Makati City.
As Donald Trump's visit to Asia draws near, opinions across the region varied about the U.S. president and what his trip will mean for their countries. Here's why from Victor Cosare.
Donald Trump's trip to Asia in November 5 to 14 will be his first since becoming president. In South Korea, people didn't believe war would be triggered due to Trump's visit but hoped he would refrain from making provocative comments about North Korea.
그래서 만약에 트럼프가 방한을 하게 된다면 어찌됐든 오셨으니까 다른 자극적인 행위나 어떤 도발할 수 있는 그런 말들은 안 했으면 좋겠고
우리가 그 핵 대 핵, 강대 강으로 나설 수 있도록 제가 꼭 이렇게 그 남한이 세게 당한다는 것보다 핵에는 핵으로 대항할 수 있는 그런 분위기가 될 수 있도록 그런 의미에서라도 저는 트럼프의 방안을 지지합니다.
Some Tokyo residents expressed desire for peaceful dialogue regarding North Korea.
でもなんかやっぱり平和について話をしてほしいとか、なんかこう戦争とかも起きないようにとか、なんかそういう手立てを考えてほしいなって思います。
Meanwhile, some Chinese people hope that he would use his position in the world to help maintain peace.
是觉得呢，中国跟美国呢两个国家在世界上都是大国，希望两国的人民友好，两个国家呢友好，把这个世界和平，不要搞的是什么那个总的来说就是不希望有战争，希望和平。美国的特朗普嘛，他来中国以后呢，也希望他来长城走一走，来看一看我们中华民族的这个伟大的这些 历史一集吧。
Filipinos in Manila believed Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte's real ally lies more with China despite his seemingly warm welcome towards the US President.
Pro yung China sa justice system na yung what's happening, yung mga nangyayari sa Pilipinas, yung against drugs, war against drugs. And compared to President Trump, meron lang siyang chemistry with President Donald Trump. Parang it's a personal thing lang.
Mas pabor si Digong sa China kasi tingnan nyo, kahit na hindi na sumuporta yung yung Amerika sa laban, hindi gaano sumuporta yung Amerika sa laban sa Marawi, pero may mga under negotiation na may nakakapagsabi na ang ibang suporta galing sa China.
Trump's visit, which is expected to be dominated by the North Korean nuclear threat, will include attending two major summits, the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum in Vietnam and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations Conclave in the Philippines. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Meanwhile, the Australian government warns its citizens in the Philippines to exercise high degree of caution due to high level of terrorism threats in the country, even in the capital of Manila. It also says be alert to possible threats around locations that have a low level of protective security and places known to be possible terrorist targets. The advisory also calls on Australian citizens not to travel in central and western Mindanao, including Zamboanga Peninsula and the Sulu Archipelago. In other news, the Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo insists that declaration of a revolutionary government is constitutional. Rosalie Cos tells us why.
To serve and protect the Filipino people. This will be the basis of President Rodrigo Duterte in case he will be forced to declare the revolutionary government. Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Attorney Salvador Panelo said during his interview in Get It Straight with Daniel Razon that the statement of the president is a warning to those who are trying to disrupt the democratic process in the country. However, the presidential lawyer does not deny that revolutionary government is not written in the Philippine Constitution.
Sinasabi naman ng Presidente, huwag niyo akong pilitin. Dahil alam ko meron kayong mga sabuatan, pero pag mayroon kayong mga overt acts that will dismantle this democratic process, ibang usapan yun.
Saan anong part ng Constitution na naka-specify yung tungkol dun sa paglalagay ng revolutionary government?
Hindi nakalagay dun specifically, pero kukunin mo yung logic nun is serving and protecting the people. At saka yung oath of office mo, defending and preserving the Constitution.
Okay, so ang ibig sabihin ngayon, dahil you're trying to preserve the Constitution, you're trying to protect the people.
And you're the constitutionally elected president.
And you
cannot just be removed.
Under the revolutionary government, it is possible to remove the Congress as well as those who are corrupt in the government.
Pag nag-declare ng revolutionary government, wala namang mababago eh. Most likely, ang mababago lang dyan, baka yung Kongreso. Pero yung judicial system, nandiyan pa rin yan. Alam mo, natatakot lang naman actually sa mga ganyan eh. Yung mga scoundrels, yung mga kriminal, yung mga corrupt.
Panelo concludes that a country's form of government still depends on what kind of leader that country has. However, the mandate to perform his duties as the chief executive of the country is still given by the Filipino people.
Kasi sa aking pananaw, kahit na anong klaseng forma ng gobyerno, basta nagpapatupad ka ng wasto, okay sa tao yun.
So dictatorial power na mali. So does that mean na itong revolutionary government na ito na iniisip natin kung sakali ay isang diktador na tama? Ganun ba?
Diktador in the sense na kasi ang constitution natin, tatlong branches, di ba?
Oo.
Pero pag binigyan mo ng dalawang powers, executive, second legislative, in a sense, parang dictator. And yet, pag pumayag ang tao, walang kumontra, kung may kumontra man, iilan, pero majority, constitutional yun. Kasi the sovereign voice of the people have spoken.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
Meanwhile, a law professor and constitutional expert, attorney George Garcia, says declaration of revolutionary government has no basis in the Philippine Constitution. He added it is only possible if majority of the people permits it and if there is people revolution. The Constitution also provides precautionary measures to stop any threat that will disrupt democratic process in the country and national security.
Sa 381 sections and 18 articles ng ating 1987 Constitution, walang isa mang provision ang nag-o-authorize sa isang gobyerno na mag-declare ng tinatawag na revolutionary government. Kaya kung may threat sa ating national security, sa public safety, o sa buong mismong demokrasya natin, madaming safeguards na nakalagay doon sa ating salibong batas. Isa na nga din yung pagdideklara ng martial law to suppress lawless violence, invasion, or rebellion.
Returning evacuees can finally have a new home before the year ends. Here's why from Ray Pelayo.
The government is now drafting the master plan for the Marawi rehabilitation. Department of Public Works and Highways Secretary Mark Villar says the equipments donated by China are now in the 11-hectare resettlement site where 1,100 units of shelter will be built.
Ang road network na naka-assign sa amin, ang target namin tapusin by November 25 for turnover para matapos yung mga bahay by December.
National Economic and Development Authority Secretary Ernesto Pernia says the massive destruction of structures in the city calls for the allocation of around 50 to 100 billion pesos for the rehabilitation.
Importante na ma-incorporate yung Maranao culture sa planning ng rehabilitation. Parang ma-preserve yung Maranao culture sa Marawi.
The task force Bangon Marawi is looking for an area in the city that will be left as a memoriam. Meanwhile, the Department of Trade and Industry is now giving livelihood starter kits to the affected residents to cope with their situation. DTI has initially allotted around 40 million pesos for the project and will further allocate an amount of 330 million pesos for more projects in the coming years.
For lives to get back to normal quickly, we have to rebuild yung mga marketplaces, a place to do their negosyo, to makanegosyo sila. So may mga rehabilitation plan din doon.
Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Negros Occidental Provincial Government assures financial assistance to the families of 5 soldiers killed in the front line of Marawi siege. Here's why from Grace Casin.
81 soldiers were able to return alive to Negros Occidental from 5-month-long battle to recapture parts of the southern city of Marawi from pro-Islamic State militants. They were given a hero's welcome this morning in Bacolod City as a show of gratitude for their gallantry and dedication to eliminate the Maute terrorist group.
2 weeks na palang ayos na tulog. Then critical din yung namin doon kasi hindi ka basta-bastang lalabas, hindi ka pwedeng lumabas kasi yun nga, yung sniper andyan palagi nakaumang sa harap. Kami nasa likod, ma'am. Kami yung nag-occupy sa ini-occupy nila na hindi mabalikan ng hindi pwedeng balikan ng kalaban. Support by fire kami nasa frontliner.
The returning troopers were given 1-month vacation before they report for duty for their mother unit in the 31st Division Reconnaissance Company of the 3rd Infantry Division. Meanwhile, Negros Occidental Governor Alfredo Marañon Jr. assures that families of the 5 soldiers killed in action in Marawi will be provided with financial support by the provincial government. The governor couldn't tell the amount of assistance as the provincial council is yet to decide on the matter. The 5 fallen soldiers were Corporal Arnel Arquillo, Staff Sergeant Joseph Villanueva, Private First Class Ramonito Osenya Jr., Private First Class Argelito Barroa, and Private First Class Nilbert Dedales.
Ang SP ang set konti lang. Hindi pa may paraan. Kasi hindi nila pa nasisyonan. Per family. Of course, ang napat yan lang.
Of the 500 soldiers of the unit who were sent to Mindanao, more than 400 still remains on assignment in Zamboanga City. 4 were killed and 81 returned to Negros Occidental. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
41 enlisted Philippine Coast Guard personnel assigned in the coastal areas in northern Mindanao received their promotion today. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
6 months after staying in Lano Lake in Port of Ilagan as blocking force against the Maute ISIS group, around more than 100 Philippine Coast Guard personnel arrived in Manila this morning boarding the BRP Pampanga. The task force unit is composed of Coast Guard Operations Forces, Anti-Terrorism Unit, and the Coast Guard Systems Command. PCG officials welcomed the group to give them the recognition they deserve.
Ikinararangal ng tanod baybayin ng Pilipinas ang aming mga bayani. Sila po ang naggwardya po kasama ang mga Navy natin at sa pulis sa lawa ng Marawi at silang pumipigil ng mga daloy, ng mga bala at saka mga kagamitan, materyales na ginagamit ng mga terorista sa Marawi.
41 enlisted PCG personnel were also promoted on the spot for their dedication to defend the country against the terrorists.
We believe that they deserve that kind of promotion. Kung ikaw ba naman sa lugar nila na araw-araw ay nakakaamoy ng pulbura, araw-araw ay sumusuong sa bala, at araw-araw ay namimighati na sila ay napalayo sa kanilang pamilya for 6 months upang panatiliin na wala pong mga materyales at saka supply na makakarating pa doon sa mga remnants ng mga terorista sa Marawi.
The troop leaders, on the other hand, received medals of honor. Among them is Lieutenant Tolentino, a son of an AFP general.
Unlike dun sa land forces natin, pag nandun kayo sa lawa, sa tubig, wala pong itataguan dun eh. So there were times na binabaril po kami from the shoreline. For the Coast Guard, masaya po kami at nagpapasalamat sa Diyos, sa dasal, kasi ligtas po kami lahat na nakauwi.
Tolentino did not disclose his area of assignment to his wife because of the delicate condition of her pregnancy.
At the back of my mind, alam ko na hindi niya lang sa akin sinasabi. Thank God at nakauwi na sila.
Meanwhile, a mother warmly welcomed her son's arrival. She claims that a day won't go by without her worrying about her son's condition in the middle of the war.
Every time na mag-text yan na, I miss you, Mama, I love you, naiiyak tuloy ako kasi masyado siyang bata.
On the other hand, faith in God and call of duty were what newly promoted Petty Officer First Class Ray Romero had held on to every time they get to an encounter with a terrorist.
Palagi ma'am sa day and night sa lawa kami, patrolya. Tapos kung may mga tinatawag na pupuntang area, punta namin.
The task force unit will be deployed back to Marawi after their 2-week vacation to give assistance to the ongoing rehabilitation. The PCG also plans to install permanent stations on both ends of Lano Lake to ensure the terrorist groups will not be able to penetrate the city once again. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Colorum van riders in Pasig City were able to escape apprehension by IAC Task Force Alameda. Mon Hokson tells us why.
Task Force Alameda of the Interagency Council on Traffic failed in its entrapment operation against Colorum drivers this morning in Pasig City.
Balita namin, meron silang mga radio system. So, isa pong bagay na aayusin namin yan. Pero hindi po sila makakaligtas. Kung hindi ngayon, bukas.
In response to this, IAC will tap the services of the National Telecommunications Commission or NTC in the surveillance of Colorum operators of vans in the city. The task force also encourages local government units and private organizations to cooperate to improve the traffic situation in the area. Aside from the entrapment operation, Task Force Alameda cleared the sidewalks of vendors and other obstructions including illegally parked vehicles. The operation irked vehicle owners and argued with MMDA and Task Force personnel but to no avail.
Bawal po paradahan. Dito mo iniwan, nakasarayan kanina. Sira po yung sasakyan ninyo eh. Sira pa yan eh, di ba?
Bumili na po sana ako ng almusal ng anak ko eh. Ngayon eh, napakaya naman nila eh. Kukunin ko na rin yan eh.
Owners of towed vehicles and confiscated items may still redeem them from MMDA. In its previous operation, the agency was able to apprehend 10 Colorum van drivers. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasig City.
Next on YNews. The Armed Forces of the Philippines remains on high alert as around 36 stragglers still in Marawi City pose big threat to civilians.
And the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources warns residents in eastern Visayas to refrain from eating shellfish due to contamination of red tide toxin.
YNews will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hereby declare Marawi City liberated.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines considers around 36 stragglers still in Marawi City as big threat to civilians. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
16 villages are still being strictly secured by the military in Marawi City. This is because around 36 stragglers or remnants of Daesh-inspired Maute terrorist group are hiding in tunnels and basements of buildings in these villages and are fighting for their survival. Armed Forces of the Philippines spokesperson Major General Restituto Padilla says although Marawi City has been declared liberated, these terrorists who are trying to escape from the main battle area are still regarded as big threat for civilians.
Malaking banta pa rin sila. So all of these items can inflict harm on innocent civilians just in case one of these terrorists forces his way through a certain community or what have you.
Of the 96 villages in Marawi City that are affected by the Marawi crisis, 9 villages have already been cleared and some internally displaced persons or IDPs have already returned to their homes. Authorities are confident that all of the residents in the said villages can already return to their homes after almost 5 months of battle in their city. Office of the Civil Defense Deputy Administrator Assistant Secretary Christopher Purisima assures that the government is doing everything it can to expedite the return of IDPs living in other villages of Marawi.
Well, that would be very soon, no? But we will be taking the cue from the local government of Marawi and we're gonna give our support as we did here in the 9 barangays, no? Kasi sila talaga yung nakakaalam dun sa area, sila yung nakakaalam dun sa citizens, dun sa constituents nila, no?
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
The Department of Justice has started the probe on the case of alleged ISIS recruiter Akarin Hamadan. NBI claims Hamadan had pledged allegiance to ISIS. Roderick Mendoza will tell us why.
32-year-old Karen Aisha Hamadan strongly denies that she recruited soldiers for the ISIS. Appearing at the preliminary investigation of the DOJ, Hamadan says the NBI planted evidence against her. She denies posting in social media application Telegram messages calling on local and foreign Muslim fighters to join the rebellion in Marawi City. She says was an ordinary blogger and Islamic preacher.
I strongly deny all of the alleged false accusations hurled against me. I'm just a da'iya. I'm an Islamic propagator. I only use the social media as my avenue to spread the message of Islam. They've pretended to be someone who's also affiliated with us. So they managed to entrap me.
But according to the NBI Counter-Terrorism Division, they monitored Hamadan's social media activity months prior to her arrest in Taguig City. They discovered from her cell phone about 300 messages calling on Muslims around the world to support the rebellion of Maute ISIS. NBI supposedly obtained audio recordings as proof that Hamadan has declared allegiance to ISIS and its leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi.
It helps us prove that the accounts we were surveilling is indeed Akarin Hamadan. She also made posts, statements on her Telegram accounts, basically saying the same thing. Identifying herself, her full name, and then declaring allegiance to ISIS.
NBI also said Hamadan first became a person of interest in the middle of 2016 after successfully recruiting Indian nationals to join radical groups in Mindanao. Meanwhile, Hamadan did not deny that she was a wife of Muhammad Jaafar Magid, the supposed leader of Ansar Khalifa Philippines, responsible for the Davao City night market bombing, and that she was a wife of Singaporean Muhammad Shamin Mohammed Sidek, who is also allegedly connected to ISIS. When asked whether she had contact with Muslims in India and countries in Southeast Asia, she had this in response.
I invoke my right against self-incrimination. I should be afforded a lawyer for all of those questions.
Hamadan has been charged for rebellion or inciting to rebellion before an investigating prosecutor. Preliminary investigation resumes next Friday and Hamadan is expected to submit her counter-affidavit. Roderick Mendoza, UNTV, News and Rescue, Department of Justice.
In other news, the camp of Senator Leila de Lima has filed a motion for reconsideration asking the Supreme Court to reverse its decision and her immediate release from detention. Roderick Mendoza is back to tell us why.
Senator Leila de Lima's fight before the Supreme Court is not yet over as her lawyers filed today a motion for reconsideration. The High Court, voting 9-6 last month, affirmed de Lima's arrest and ordered the Muntinlupa Trial Court to proceed with her case. But the senator's camp is asking the court to nullify the arrest order and to immediately release her from detention. Her lawyers argue that even the 9 justices who voted to dismiss her petition cannot agree on the crime being charged. 5 are saying it was illegal drug trading, 3 stated that it was conspiracy to commit drug trading, while 1 is still vague as to which of the 2. Her lawyer says this only proves the charges are fake, like what Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio has said.
That means that the information is void, it's vague, and therefore you don't have enough votes to sustain the validity of the information.
De Lima's camp said that if at least 3 members of the majority believe that the charges are for conspiracy to commit drug trading, then they must have concluded that the arrest warrant was issued for an entirely different and wrong case. Hence, her continued pre-trial detention is unjust.
If the majority of the members of the Supreme Court themselves cannot agree on the nature of the charges, ano na yung gagawin ng trial court judge?
De Lima also said Muntinlupa RTC Judge Juanita Guerrero gravely abused her discretion when she issued the arrest warrant. She also maintained that it's the Sandigan Bayan which has jurisdiction over her cases. Roderick Mendoza, UNTV, News and Rescue, Manila.
The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency Region 9 is focusing on dismantling big-time drug syndicates in its area of jurisdiction. Abby Santa Ines will tell us why.
The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or Padilla Region 9 is now considering measures on how to accomplish the new mandate of conducting anti-illegal drugs operations despite lack of manpower. Padilla Region 9 Director Lindon Aspacio says one of these measures is target prioritization, in which eliminating big-time syndicates is top priority.
At least bago bumaba yan sa street level talaga, na nakuha na natin. Hindi na yan kakalat pa sa mga small time na mga street level traffickers.
Padilla clarifies the Philippine National Police or PNP is still on the backup in the anti-drug campaign through police visibility and monitoring.
Tapos pwede pa rin naman silang mag-apprehend ng mga tao during cases ng inflagrante, yung naaktuhan talaga.
Based on the data from Padilla Region 9, from 2014 to date, the agency has recorded over 700 drug-related cases in the Zamboanga Peninsula. And just recently, the agency burned 230 million pesos worth of illegal drugs confiscated from the anti-drugs operations in the region. Abby Santa Ines, UNTV, News and Rescue, Philippines.
Residents affected by the water tank explosion in San Jose Del Monte, Bulacan, continue to appeal for the assistance promised to them by the SJDM Water District. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
The residents that were affected by the explosion of a water tank in San Jose Del Monte, Bulacan still hope that they can finally receive all the assistance promised to them. The incident happened almost a month ago, but the houses and establishments in their community still haven't undergone any repair. One of the residents affected was Lily, who owned a meat shop, dress shop, and jewelry store.
Talagang mahirap, wala kaming hanap buhay. Yung 4 na pwesto ko na pinagkukunan po namin ng income araw-araw, wala po talaga. Sirang-sira po.
Hindi pa pinapalitan yung bahay niyo?
Wala po. Pati siyempre yung pangangailangan namin sa araw-araw.
Most of the victims are currently staying with their relatives. Although the residents have already coordinated with the city water district officials, but the agency claimed they are prioritizing the families of the 4 victims who died and the hospital bills of those who sustained injuries in the incident. The water district is currently determining the actual cost of the damage on the affected houses and establishments. San Jose Del Monte Mayor Arthur Robes promises to do all they can to help the victims of the incident.
So establishment, siyempre hindi naman namin sakop yun, no? Yung ano pa rin ang magbibigay ng tulong sa kanila, no? Yung local water district. But of course, all of the families na apektado ay bibigyan namin ng cash incentive.
Okay, magkano ba yung cash incentive?
Sa amin, we're giving away 25,000 subject for approval ng commission ng
The PNP and the municipal government are expected to release the result of their investigation on the incident. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources warns residents in eastern Visayas to refrain from eating shellfish. Abby Santa Ines will tell us why.
The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BFAR, is now closely monitoring the 6 coastal areas in eastern Visayas. The agency warns the public against harvesting, selling, and eating shellfish products coming from Irong-Irong Bay, Maqueda Bay, Daram Coastal Waters, Matarino Bay, Villarreal Bay, and Cariraga Bay. Some fish, squid, shrimps, and crabs are safe to eat as long as they are fresh, thoroughly washed, and the gills and other internal organs are removed before cooking. Meanwhile, despite the red tide alert, shellfish vendors guarantee that what they sell are safe to eat.
Yung mga puno to, siyempre. Noos, favorite ang mga itanod, noos, kasayang, kasi naabot.
Symptoms of red tide contamination are nausea, vomiting, difficulty in breathing, and numbness of hands and feet. Authorities remind the public to rush to the nearest hospital in case of any of these symptoms appear. Abby Santa Ines, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The price of per kilogram of brown scad or galunggong has soared in Navotas and Malabon fish ports. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources has temporarily banned fishing of round scad or galunggong in several towns of Palawan beginning this November. Based on the BFAR's monitoring and study, the population of brown scad has been depleting due to the lowering of temperature or the cold season.
Yung mga mangisda natin kasi amihan, may mga area na hindi naman mapasok. Tapos sabi lang, pag taglamig, affected din yung mga isda natin. Kaya konti lang ang kaya muna nating mag-breed tapos lumaki yung isda.
Areas covered by the closed fishing order on galunggong are the towns of Agutaya, Araceli, Busuanga, Coron, Culyon, Cuyo, Dumaran, Linapacan, and Magsaysay. According to BFAR, about 92% of the supply of galunggong nationwide comes from Palawan. The fishing ban takes effect until January of next year. Meanwhile, as the closed fishing season begins, supply of round scad or galunggong in Navotas and Malabon fish ports are getting low.
Talagang as in wala. Ultimo mga biyaheng Quezon, yung balsa na sinasabi, wala din. Ang marami ngayon na galunggong, naka-box. Frozen na tawag nila doon. Hindi, wala nang sariwa talaga.
Madala ngayon ang galunggong kasi hindi pa panahon. Mga Marso, Abril yan pwede.
This prompted increase in the price of per kilogram of galunggong in major markets from 120 to 130 pesos per kilogram to 150 to 200 pesos per kilogram. Ray Pilayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
In other news, Filipino community in Brazil joins campaign against breast cancer. Roland Lahara tells us why.
The Embassy of the Philippines in Brazil, together with the Filipino community in Brasilia, joined in the observance of Outubro Rosa. The program aims to educate the public, especially Brazilians, anything about breast cancer. Dr. Lucy Ishi says, based on statistics, breast cancer has become the #1 cause of death among Brazilian women.
O câncer de mama é o câncer que mais mata as mulheres no Brasil. A incidência no Brasil é muito alta, são cerca de 58 mil novos casos de câncer de mama no Brasil. Cerca de 14 mil mulheres morrem ao ano.
Consul General Ari Severino Conbalicer, meanwhile, agrees that such campaign not only benefits Brazilians but also Filipinos living and working here in Brazil, as the disease affects almost all nations, not only women but men as well.
We want to create greater awareness for breast cancer, especially given the fact that according to statistics, the Philippines is the country which has the largest incidence of breast cancer in the world. We want to create awareness for male breast cancer. Kasi hindi lang naman ito sakit ng mga kababaihan, sakit din ito ng mga kalalakihan.
According to World Health Organization, almost 1,400,000 cases of breast cancer are recorded worldwide every year, which around 400,000 die yearly because of the said disease. Experts advise that the risk of breast cancer can be reduced with regular checkups and healthy lifestyle. Roland Lahara, UNTV News and Rescue, Brasilia, Brazil.
The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council has called on local government units to prepare and be alert this typhoon season. Joanne Nano will tell us why.
3 people died while several others were injured as Tropical Storm Ramil hit the country. According to NDRMC spokesperson Romina Marasigan, the 3 died from a rock slide, of which 2 lost their lives in the middle of a vacation at a beach in San Juan, Batangas. Marasigan advises the public to stay indoors when weather disturbances prevail. In case it is inevitable to go outdoors, find out the situation in your destination to keep out of harm's way using smartphone applications.
Alam mo, it would help. May Google tayo, meron tayong mga ilang mga applications na pwede natin puntahan o bisitahin para maging informed tayo na kung sakali bang pag-uulan, ano ba naman ang hazards na meron doon.
Marasigan also reminds the local government units to disseminate information, announcements, and warnings to their constituents for their safety.
No, baka ma-holiday mode na naman tayo. Baka makaligtaan natin na tuwing ganitong parte na ng taon, magkakaranas tayo ng mga patuloy na pag-uulan.
The NDRMC spokesperson adds evacuation centers and aid must be prepared as it is time of the year when storms hit the country and rains and floods are experienced across the country. Joanne Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Coming up on YNews. Canada to take in immigrants at a gradual pace in the next 3 years amid concerns of increased competition.
And a man who was once saved by UNTV News and Rescue wishes to train as a rescuer to also help others.
More from YNews after this break. A taxi driver who was saved by UNTV News and Rescue team expresses interest to undergo rescue training if given the chance. Leslie Longboen will tell us why.
J.R. Lalis will never forget the moment he was caught in a life and death situation.
Tinulungan ng UNTV News and Rescue team ang isang sugatang motorcycle rider matapos
It was in May 2014 when J.R. was caught in an accident in Regalado Avenue, Quezon City while riding a motorcycle on his way home.
Bumangga ako sa puno na yan, yung malaki. Tapos yung headlight nandun sa kabilang kalsada. Tapos yun, pagkabangga ako dyan, nagulat ako nung dito na ako nagkaroon ng malay. Diyan na rin ako na-rescue ng UNTV.
Because of the impact, JR was found in a critical condition.
However, due to the fast response of UNTV rescue team, he was given first aid and rushed to the hospital. At that moment, Hannah Joy Remolacio, his partner, was very much worried, especially that she was 4 months pregnant then with their first baby.
Hinanap ko po siya ng papunta ng FCM. Sinabi po ng barkada niya na na-aksidente daw po siya. Sabi ko, huwag naman kayo magbiro ng ganyan kasi hindi nakakatawa.
3 years later, JR is now healthy and works as a taxi driver, but until now, the incident is still fresh to his memory. The act of UNTV served as an inspiration to him. That's why if given an opportunity, he also wants to learn first aid and rescue.
Gusto ko rin makatulong sa iba, gaya ng nangyari sa akin. Kaya pag may nadaanan ako sa kalsada, ganyan, tutulungan ko na lang din. Kasi binabalik ko lang din yung nangyari sa akin na aksidente. Hindi ko siya nagagalaw o pero pinupuntahan ko po yung malapit na ospital. Sinasabi ko na may na-aksidente sa ganitong street.
JR now lives a simple life together with his wife and 2 children. He is thankful to God for using instruments to give him a second chance to live and be together with his loved ones.
Kung di po nila sinulungan yung asawa ko, wala pong tatay yung anak ko.
Nagpapasalamat po ako kasi natulungan nila ako. Tsaka kung hindi dahil sa kanila, siguro wala na ako ngayon. Kung hindi dahil sa kanila, hindi ako magkakaroon ng 2 anak. Kaya maraming salamat sa UNTV.
UNTV News and Rescue was formed in 2010 by Kuya Daniel Razon from his advocacy, providing lifelines before delivering headlines. Anyone in need of help in times of accidents and disasters may call 911 UNTV. Leslie Longbowen, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Model actress Winwin Marquez wows Bolivian crowd in the pre-pageant of Miss Reina Hispano-Americana. Here's why from Nino Emilio.
The Philippines is the first Asian country to join the pageant since it started in 1991. She is the first Filipina to compete in the prestigious event, and she's indeed a crowd favorite. Meet Miss Teresita Sen Winwin Marquez, the Philippines' first candidate in the annual beauty pageant celebrating Hispanic heritage, language, and culture. The Reina Hispano-Americana.
It's an honor na inimbitahan ng Philippines for the first time. Alam naman natin ang heritage ng Pilipinas. It comes from Spain. Time to celebrate our unique heritage. So, yun ang pinaka-significant na nangyari sa ba't tayo nakasali.
During the pre-pageant, Winwin has won special awards. She finished in the top 3 in the traditional costume category, the first runner-up in the Miss Personality category, a finalist in the Best Smile and Miss Silhouette categories, and finally named the sponsor girl Miss Ipanema. Winwin says she is confident to win the crown, as she is ready to provide intelligent answers even to the most controversial questions, such as the issue of extrajudicial killing or the alleged human rights violations, specifically in the country.
We have to value life, diba? We have to value our own lives, other lives, kasi yun ang binigay ni God sa atin. We just have to follow rules. And if you follow rules, nothing will happen.
The 25-year-old actress model won the Miss Reina Hispano-Americana in the Miss World Philippines 2017 on October 31. She went straight to prepare for the grand finals night of Miss Reina Hispano-Americana on November 4 in Santa Cruz, Bolivia. When asked what would be her edge among the candidates, Winwin has this to say.
I have Spanish blood. I'm Asian. Yung kultura ng pagka-Spanish at Pinoy nag-merge. Alam mo yung ugaling ng Pinoy na kahit nahihirapan, nakangiti pa din. So feeling ko unique unique yung heritage ko. So I think that's my edge over the other candidates.
Together with the Bolivian news team, Nino Emilio, UNTV News and Rescue.
The Philippine cocoa industry sees hope for potential investors in the biggest chocolate fair in Paris, France. June Garin tells us why.
7 Filipino chocolate companies joined the biggest chocolate event in France.
The Salon du Chocolat 2017 held here in Paris, which concluded last November 1. The experience overwhelmed our Filipino chocolatier after getting positive response from chocolate lovers in the prestigious exhibition.
First time namin sa ngayon sa Salon du Chocolat, and yung response naman sa ngayon has been very good. Medyo surprise nga yung mga tao na may kakao sa Pilipinas at marami kasing mga hindi pa nakakatikim ng tsokolate galing Philippines. So it's very good exposure for the industry.
So we're bringing here 12 brands of chocolates from the Philippines. Parang nagustuhan nila na parang may kakaibang lasa din.
They say it's a change to further introduce the taste of Philippine chocolate into the international market.
I don't know if they have chili here, but I think they are very interested because it's not that like common here, the chili, yung maliit, labuyo.
Also during the said event, Davao's Puente Espina farm was accorded for producing one of the top 50 best cacao beans in the world.
A total of 166 entries of different cacao beans from 40 countries placed their entry in the 2017 edition of the Cacao Excellence Program in France.
We received an award. Yung farm po namin in Davao, which is Puente Espina Farms, is now one of the best cocoa beans in the world. We are so fortunate na nakasama po yung farm namin sa Best 50.
Cacao farmers in the Philippines are expected to benefit from this trade fair since visitors and potential investors express delight to the exceptional taste of Philippine chocolates.
Encourage us also, inspire sa amin na to do more, to do better. Then I met a lot of mga big guns of the chocolate companies here in Europe from Belgium, Paris, Russia, mayroon pa nga taga-US. And talagang kinakausap ako, interesado sila sa Philippine cocoa beans natin. Sabi ko, maganda ito for farmers because we're here also to help the farmers. Actually, this is all for the Filipino cacao farmers.
June Garin, UNTV, News and Rescue, Paris, France.
Of course. It's a happy weekend, Will.
Yes, it is. It was a long week, but it's over.
It's over. And hopefully, God willing,
yes, we will get better because we're both sick with the sniffles.
Yes, we're both sniffles.
Get well to us.
Get well to us. Those are the reasons behind the news, November 3, 2017. I am Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am William Theo.
Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Thank you for watching YNews.